Hello, I hope everyone had a good week. Throughout this week's chapters, I learned a lot about the different genres and their uses in filmmaking. Based on what I learned today, I will discuss the different types of genres used in filmmaking, how genres create stereotypes in film, and how genres create expectations amongst the audience. Genre films are used to describe film stories that have been repeated again and again with only slight changes, following the same basic pattern and including the same basic ingredients. Some examples of these repetitive films are westerns, gangster films, horror films, war films, screwball comedies, film musicals, and science fiction and fantasy films. Although each of these are very different approaches, films in the same genre line, such as war films, are what are known to be more similar to each other and remain without much change, which creates the repetitiveness. And this brings me to my next topic, how genres in film create stereotypes. After the storylines and approaches to each genre remain consistently the same, it is easy for audiences to begin to predict how the film will play out and what character fits certain characteristics that are common throughout each film. For example, most gangster films have an outsider that not necessarily an outsider, but he feels like an outsider in his own family because he does not agree with how his family does things and does not want to be a part of everything that's going on, and he tries to do good or do something well, and in the beginning it turns on him, but in the end he reaches his deserved ending. And finally, how genres create expectations amongst the audience. One of the most common techniques I've seen in films is how a guy and a girl don't like each other in the beginning, end up falling in love, have some major conflict that draws them apart, and then in the end there's a big gesture made by one of them and they end up together and happy. The repetitiveness of storylines like this create the expectation of the same storyline in other films or the next film that they plan on seeing. This is also why people's mood or emotions at the time dictate what film they want to watch based on how they want to feel, because they can predict the ending, and if they're sad, they're not going to want to watch a happy ending, and vice versa. Genres play a big role in filmmaking, and they also help determine the kind of audience that type of film will bring in. This is why it is very important as a filmmaker to pick a genre that you're familiar with and that you can capture the expectations or the stereotypes that the audience is expecting when they go in to see those films. Thank you.